Hi, welcome back to Mind Control, where we inspire and motivate you. Hope you enjoy the video.
First thing you got to do is decide, as a business owner, do I want to make more money? See, if this dude with the camera, if his pockets are empty, he's walking around empty pockets, and he's got his fancy camera. This is the problem with the artist. They starve their whole life. They starve their entire life, and then you wonder why they're grumpy. There's no money. I'm eating at Little's all the time. Sooner or later, you hit the reality. He hits the reality. I got a nice camera. I love taking photos. I got to shoot Grant Cardone. He watches Lord Sugar leave on his jet and says, hey, why does he get to fly free everywhere, do whatever he wants, and I'm stuck with my camera and no money? How many believe that? Sooner or later, after days of going to work, months of going to work, years of going to work, sooner or later, if he works for this man, he's like, I resent this man. I resent this man. I resent that man, business owner. I resent Paul McFadden, the business owner. I resent you, so I know I won't work for you. In fact, what I'm going to do is screw things up for you. It's called disengagement. The only business people that will survive, the only entrepreneurs that will make it in business are those people that decide to grow their businesses. Little will fail. Not the little grocery store. Okay? If you try to stay small, you will fail. Okay? I'm telling you this from personal experience. I tried to stay small. I tried to manage the business. I tried to be the king of the business. I tried to have no employees because employees cost money. I'm like, I'm not going to have any employees. I'm not going to pay the cameraman. I'll just hire him when I do a gig. And the next time I'll hire another guy. And that'll keep my expenses low. How many are brought up like this? Keep the expenses real low where we can manage the expenses. The expenses are going to be so small that no matter how much we make, I keep it all.
Whatever you do to get back on your feet, whatever you do to bounce back into life, make sure it's moral. Make sure that your upcoming success is at the service of others, not at the expense of others. I have made this point several times, but only because it's so important. Integrity. Integrity is adhering to the moral principles of life. Integrity is doing things with honor. Integrity is honesty. Without integrity, ambition loses its unifying focus that comes from integrated goals, from really knowing what you want. Integrity says, I wish to pay fair price for all value. Getting something for nothing makes nothing of me. Getting it cheap makes me cheap. Truly, in your own enlightened self-interest, this is one of the better statements. I wish to pay fair price for every value. I wish to pay fair price. This is self-interest, and it's also integrity. I wish to pay fair price for every value. Why? For what it will make of me. For what paying for it will make of me. If I have to pay, that will make something of me. And by paying, you have the integrity not to take advantage of others. You hear of greedy people boasting about the great deal they just got, the best value, how they negotiated the price down to nothing, how they nickel and dime the other person out of making a profit. Good integrity won't let you do that. We all shop for the greatest value at the best price, but not at the expense of others. Not when your great deal cheated someone out of their profit. You hire someone to do a job for you, take on a project. You've got to pay fair price, fair value for someone else to do the work for you, because if you don't, what? They'll never work for you again. They don't want to work long, hard hours to make you look good and not get compensated for it. No, and your integrity won't allow that to happen. Pay an honest price for an honest value. Make it good for everybody involved. Leave a profit. Don't be cheap, be fair. It's your integrity that's on the line, not just a few bucks. Your integrity. If I want something badly enough, I have to earn it. If I want something badly enough, I have to pay for it. Why? Because of what paying for it will make of me. And if I wish to have more, I must become more. I must earn more. And how much should you earn? As much as you possibly can. You must always strive to do all you possibly can. The essence of life is growth. Doing, becoming, striving, growing, achieving. Be like the tree that grows as high as it can. Be like the bird that soars as high as it can. Be like the flowers that bloom as much as they can. Whatever course you set your sail to, do as much as you can to get there. It's part of integrity. Honestly doing all you can in pursuit of what you want, in pursuit of what you'll become. And whatever you sign up for, finish it. Here's a great story about integrity. The Apostle Paul, this great man, said, I'm about to go, and here's the reputation I want when I'm gone. Here's what I want people to say about me. He said 3 things, and here's number 1. I fought a good fight. Let that be your reputation. You fought a good fight. You kept out the ideology that wanted to capture your children, threatened every enemy that ever threatened you, fought like a parent protecting children in the home front. Let that be your reputation. You fought a good fight. And whether or not you won, at least let your reputation be that you fought a good fight. Fought for your rights, fought for the game. You fought for your integrity. You fought for honesty. You fought for success. You didn't leave any energy unspent. You fought. The major key to have success of any kind, you've got to leave this reputation behind. I've fought a good fight. Wow. And here's the second thing Apostle Paul said. Number 2, I finished the task. I stayed until it was done. They gave me a task, and I finished it. I didn't leave it half done. I never walked off the court in the 3rd quarter. I stayed. I finished it. What a good reputation. Finish it. Finish your assignment. Finish the project. Finish the contract. Finish it. Finish whatever you've signed up for. Then number 3, here's what he said. I kept the faith. Boy, that's important. Keep faith with your family. Keep faith with your enterprise. The group I belong to, we pledge our faith, our unwavering confidence in each other. Each of us pledge that to all of us. And I wish for you to be in a group that has so much integrity. You want to be involved with people who pledge and keep your confidences. Allstate says you're in good hands. That should be the reputation of all of us. Develop the reputation of good hands so that no matter where you go, you will represent your family well, represent your company well, have integrity, honesty. And at the end of the road, don't you want to be able to say, I fought a good fight, I finished the job, and I kept the faith? Of course you do. And that last part, keeping the faith, is not that easy. What is the master prayer? Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Help us keep integrity in spite of the evil, in spite of going through the valley of the shadow of darkness, that we will not fear that evil will dislodge us from our integrity. Keep the faith of the office. Keep the faith of the company. Keep the faith of the family, of your spouse and of your children. Keep the faith of the community. Wherever you go, represent your family well. Wherever you go, represent your group well. Wherever you go, represent your colleagues well. Let part of the bond of friendship be that wherever each of you are, each of you will represent all of you well. Wow, what a thing to be able to say. I fought a good fight, I finished the course, and I kept the faith. And here's how he wrapped it up. Apostle Paul said, I understand now there's a crown waiting for me, and I deserve it. Isn't that great to say? I hear they have a trophy for me, and guess what? I deserve it. What a magnificent story to leave behind. I fought a good fight, I finished the job, I kept the faith, and I deserve the crown. Unbelievable. Now others around you, others you associate with, may not have the ambition or the integrity to leave such a legacy behind. But guess what? Let other people lead small lives, but not you. In the challenge of building your ambition and stepping up to the opportunity of giving someone else light and direction and refinement of thought and character, in all of this, let everybody else lead small lives, but not you. Let everybody else cry over small hurts, but not you. Let everybody else argue over non-essentials, but not you. Deal in things that matter, the larger challenge, the larger opportunity. Go for the challenge and the responsibility of being the absolute best you can, of doing your best, of creating your best, of being the best person, the best friend, the best spouse, the best parent, the best colleague. As you begin to understand and apply all of the principles in building your ambition, remember, ambition is an eager desire to achieve, an eager desire to get ahead in life, to do more for your family, to prosper in health and wealth and relationships. As you're building your ambition, inspiring and fueling your achievement, when you realize that you are more than your ambition, when you let your ambition serve you, you will develop greater concentration, greater resilience, greater integrity. These three aspects will inspire more ambition. Ambition that stems from the need to be true and to express your innermost self. And with focused concentration, resilience, and integrity in our character on our side, working for us, we're constantly inspiring the ambitious part of our nature to reach to greater and greater heights. One of the most challenging experiences in life is seeing what you can do to help someone else. And one of the greatest thrills in life is being able to invest life into life.
We'd like to thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Please also like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and families. Please watch our other motivational videos. Thank you again.
However, make a special note of the two words, take advantage. That is what we must learn to do. Take advantage. Just because spring comes is no sign you're going to look good in the fall. You must do something with it. In fact, everyone has to get good at one of two things, planting in the spring or begging in the fall. So take advantage of the day. Take advantage of the opportunity. And read every book you can get your hands on to learn how to take advantage of the spring. And one more thought, get busy quickly on your springs, your opportunities. There are just a handful of springs that have been handed to each of us. Life is brief even at the longest. The Beatles wrote, life is so short. And for John Lennon on the streets of New York, it was extra short. But it is short. Elton John sings, she lived her life like a candle in the wind. They will take it, unless you prevent it. And that is the third major lesson to learn. Major skill to develop. Preventing the intruder from taking the good. Here are two key phrases to consider under the third major lesson. Number one, all good will be attacked. That's the first phrase. On this planet, all good will be attacked. And don't press me for a why. I was not in on some of the early decisions, so I don't know why. All I know is, it's true. Let reality be your best beginning. Every garden will be invaded. Not to think so is naive. Here's the second phrase. All values must be defended. Social values, political values, friendship values, marriage values, family values, business values. Every garden must be tended all summer. If you don't develop this skill, you will never wind up with anything of value. Last is the fourth major lesson in life to learn. Learn how to reap in the fall without complaint. That's number 4. Take full responsibility for what happens to you. It is one of the highest forms of human maturity, accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you have passed from childhood to adulthood, accepting full responsibility. And learn how to reap in the fall without apology. Without apology if you have done well, and without complaint if you have not. That's the best of human maturity. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's the best. Now, I used to have some problems in this area, way back in those early days. I used to have this list of reasons why I wasn't doing well. To explain, right? Otherwise, you're going to look bad. I used to have this funny list called Reasons for Not Looking Good. I really did. I used to blame the government. You can believe that or not. It was at the top of my list. I had a lecture second to none. The government. I blamed taxes. Look what you've got left after they take everything out. Taxes, that was on my list. I blamed prices. That's easy, right? You walk into a supermarket with $20 and come out with this little half bag of groceries. That was on my list. I blamed the weather. I blamed the traffic. I blamed my car. I blamed the manufacturers. I blamed my negative relatives. They were always putting me down. I blamed my cynical neighbors. They were just selfish, looking out for themselves. Wouldn't loan me any money. I blamed the community. I blamed the economy. Hey, that's a pretty good list for not doing well, isn't it? I thought it was a good list. I will never forget this one day. Mr. Schoaf was very kind, but he was also very blunt, which was helpful for me. If he hadn't been blunt, I would have missed some things. On this particular day, with a kind of question mark look on his face, he said, "Jim, just out of curiosity, tell me how come you haven't done well up until now?" Excellent question, right? Well, so I wouldn't look too bad, I decided to go through my list. How I ever had the nerve to do that, I don't know, but I did. I went through the whole list. The government, taxes, prices, everything. He was very patient and let me go through it all. When I finished, he looked over my list very carefully and said, "Mr. Rohn, big problem with your list. You aren't on it." How brilliant and how true. When I went to work for him a few months later, I learned very quickly to tear up my list of reasons for not looking good and threw it away. And then I got a fresh piece of paper and I put one word on it. Me. There's a Black Heritage spiritual that says, "It's not my mother nor my father, nor my brother nor my sister, but it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer."
That little piece of hood logic was a little bit too much for her. People live wonderful lives with multiple degrees. Well, I'm not one of them. You've got to write everything down, y'all. It's an amazing thing. And let me tell you something else. Can I tell you something else? You do not have to change who you are to be successful. You have to change some things about you, but you don't have to change who you are. God created you very, very unique. I don't know if you all know this, but it's about how many people on earth? What's the number? About 7 billion? Listen to this. Do you know it's 7 billion people on earth? Ain't none of us got the same fingerprints. Who do that? Who can make 7 billion patterns and ain't none of them just alike? That's your God, your creator. That's how unique he made you. He made you so unique, you got your own set of fingerprints. It's probably been, I don't know, some billions of people that already died. I don't know. I'm just glad I ain't one of them. Billions of people have died. Guess what? Ain't none of them had the same fingerprint either. God made you uniquely you. See, I'm who I am. I don't use proper grammar. That ain't my thing. You know, when I got on a talk show at NBC, you know, they sent this lady to work with me. What is it? A linguist? Yeah, that's my son right there. I got him college educated because I ain't. See, I got money. So everything I ain't, I hire who is. And so they hired this linguist to work with me. And she came in and set her books down in my office. I said, "Ma'am, who are you?" She said, "I'm your linguist coach." I said, "Oh, cool. I always wanted to make that kind of spaghetti." This is a true story. This is not a joke. This is really a true story. I had no idea what this lady was talking about. So I'm sitting up there and she says, "What is that?" She said, "I'm here because NBC feels if you want to be successful in daytime television, you have to speak more eloquently. So I'm here to work with your grammar." I said, "Oh, I ain't finna do all that." She said, "Excuse me?" I said, "I ain't finna do all that." She said, "Could you say that slowly for me?" I said, "I ain't finna do all that. Lat. L-A-T. I ain't finna do all that." She said, that's exactly why I'm here. I said, ma'am, what is you talking to me about this for? She said, because your grammar won't sustain a television show on daytime TV. And so I'm here to help you become more grammatically correct. I said, oh, ma'am, you wasting your time. I ain't even bothered with all that. She said, excuse me? I said, I ain't really bothered with all that. She said, could you say that for me slowly? Sure can. I ain't really, I ain't really about all that, and I ain't with it. She said, oh my God, this is worse than I thought. Now I'm enjoying myself because I'm really not fitting to do this class with you. I promise you I'm not. Oh, this white lady. Ooh. Mr. Harvey. Yeah, that's cute. Stomping don't really scare me. I've been shot before. That don't. Mr. Harvey. Woo. I tried to act surprised. Mr. Harvey. Woo. Tried to just give her something. She said, you have got to stop this. You have got to speak more grammatically correct to be a success. I said, to be a success, I got to speak more correct. I said, let me ask you something. Which one of these sound best to you? I am broke or I'm is rich?
Somebody help me in here. Touch somebody and say, I'm ready to work that thing. I'm ready to work that thing. I'm ready to work that thing. I'm ready to come up out of my fear and my doubt and my worry. I'm ready to work that thing. I'm ready to work every day and every opportunity and every door he opens. I'm ready to work that thing. I'm ready to work that thing. In fact, touch 3 people and say, work that thing, work that thing, work that thing. Work it. Work it in the mission fields. Work it in the church. Work it in the ministry. Work it in the music department. Work it in the children's ministry. When you get back to your church, work that thing. It may not be big like this, may not have all the equipment like this. You may not have a lighting system. All you got is a flashlight. But baby, work that thing, work that thing, work. I want to get you so fired up that hell gets nervous when you pull out of the parking lot.
We can all engage in enterprise. We can all participate in the disciplines that bring wealth of lifestyle and treasure. All of us and our children can build the most powerful and attractive society ever. You can always go back to the old way, but if you just try it, I predict you will be so excited about your new commitment and discipline for wealth that you will never turn back. What we're seeing here is that wealth is a matter of allocation, not opportunity, especially in this country. There are subtleties on both sides of any issue of health and sickness, the issues of success and failure. It is the subtleties that determine the direction and the destination. The major reason it is so subtle is because what you do in a single day or a single week or month doesn't seem to matter that much. But remember, as we said earlier, everything matters. Everything weighs something. Sophisticated people never say, it doesn't matter. If you spend or invest $5 today, it doesn't seem to matter much either way. You seem to be no richer or poorer at the end of the day. But it does make all the difference in the world as you save $5 every day, and the days accumulate into weeks and into months and into years. You see, it's the accumulated total of the allocation of each day that makes all the difference in the world, whether you become rich or poor, healthy or ill, successful or mediocre. Now back to Johnny. He is going to ask about his investment account, where he's putting 10 cents out of every dollar. What kind of interest do they pay kids? So you give him the blockbuster, same as adult. That will be almost unbelievable. At last, he can be treated like an adult, getting that adult interest when you're only a kid. And one added note, just by working this part of the financial independence plan alone, by putting aside less than $200 a month, will make you a millionaire in 30 years. Remember, it's called the subtlety of wealth or poverty. What you do in one day doesn't seem to matter, but as all sophisticated kids and adults know, it is the accumulated days of proper allocation of your money that makes you wealthy. It is using the ideas we're discussing, coupled with the passing of a little time, that creates fortunes. Now, the passing of time is automatic, but using the ideas is a matter of your own discipline. Whether you want to or not, or whether you care or not, bottom line, it's all up to you. Let me give you the definition of rich and poor. It is brief, but I'm sure you will get the message. Here it is. Poor people spend their money and save what's left. And you guessed it already. Rich people save their money and spend what's left. Remember, it's the same money, just a different philosophy. If 20 years ago, two people each earned $1,000 a month, and they each had an average increase in income over the last 20 years, one had the philosophy, spend your money, save what's left, and the other had the philosophy, save your money and spend what's left. Today, 20 years later, we call one poor and the other rich. The difference was in philosophy. But I can't stress too much the subtlety of it all. At the end of a day or a week or a month, it doesn't seem to matter. A rich plan or a poor plan to an unsophisticated person. But to make wise decisions, we must all weigh a larger measure of the result. We don't just weigh a week. We weigh 5 years of week, 10 years of week, and let the weight of that measure determine the change in our weekly activity and commitment.
I remember seeing Zig on stage. If you give enough people what they want, they will give you what you want. I remember Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, change your thinking and you will change your life. I remember Jim Rohn, when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. I remember Earl Nightingale, all of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. I remember listening to those recordings over and over and over and over again to change my mental blueprint. I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City with a twin brother, and in an abandoned building on a floor. And when we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. Whenever I speak, I always say, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. So I signed once and said, God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. Mama was a domestic worker. She worked on Miami Beach. She made up beds and cleaned homes. She cooked for families, weighed the food left over from the families that she cooked for. My mother could bake too. Mama could bake a sweet potato pie so good you couldn't eat it with your shoes on. Dad, take your shoes off so you could wiggle your toes. We wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that Mama kept. These families are kind and generous. They would say, Mamie, whatever food is left over, you can pack it up and take it home to those children that you have adopted. When I ask you how many have big goals and dreams, I want to ask you to think about your goals and dreams in 3 areas. Number 1, what's some personal goal to have for someone that you love? My first major goal was to buy my mother a home. That's what I want you to do. I remember walking around these big, beautiful mansions before catching the bus going back to Liberty City in Overtown in Miami. I said, Mama, she said, what is it, Leslie? When I become a man, I'm going to buy you a big, beautiful home just like this. Let me have somebody that you like to do something for. It's personal to you. Raise your hands, please. Very good. I want you to think about that. I'm going to share with you some strategies how you can make that happen. Next thing is I want you to think about your financial freedom number. And when you reach that number, when you earn that amount of money, that you will feel a sense of relief. It take a lot of stress out of your life. It give you more time for yourself, for your family. And what that number is, if you wrote it down or if you're thinking about it, I want you to multiply it 100 times. And the reason that I want you to do that, I have found in my own life that most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they have done what I did for the first part of my life, aim too low and hit. And then I want you to think about your social contribution. I believe that we live in the greatest country in the world that allows us to live a life of contribution. Harsman said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. One of the goals I have is to reduce the number of women who die from breast cancer. My mother was a 22-year breast cancer conqueror. One of the goals I have, every time I get on stage, I tell men that I was diagnosed 15 years ago with prostate cancer, given a 2 to 3 year prognosis. One of the things I believe doctors should never tell someone they're terminally ill. What they should say is that my ability to help you has terminated.
It's not like a pain where you can take a pill for it. It's not like an ache where you can get a prescription for it. It's not something you can go to the doctor and eradicate. Shame is personal. You can put makeup over it. You can put hair over it. You can shave and get your beard trimmed over it. You can look good over top of it, and nobody will know that behind it all, the reason you didn't do more or go further or climb higher is because there was shame. We live in a culture and a society today that people are afraid to run for office because if there's anything you ever did or sort of did or smiled at somebody or hugged somebody, you could lose your position. Who wants to run for an office to be shamed and humiliated in public, even though you may be smart and be gifted and you could have been king? It is becoming less and less popular to be powerful because people are looking for heroes that are bigger than them. They want you to be what they can't be. They want you to be Jesus. And when you take a position or you take a role or you take a job or you raise a family, there's always somebody who's got you on their hit list, who's ready to dig up something on you to say, oh, he ain't such a much. She's not so much. They're not so good. They're not so this. They're not so that. And it's one thing when it's a lie, but it's another thing when it's true. Peter was warming himself. You can rebuke a lie. You can stare a lie down. It almost don't bother me when they lie on me, because when you lie on me, I got a quick comeback for you. The truth shall set you free. I'm good. But what about when what they're saying about you is true? Peter is warming himself at the fire of the men he used to fight. What a contradiction. And you must understand that people are full of contradictions and complexities. And what we do with people is once we discover that there's a complexity or contradiction, we throw them away, and you generally never hear of them. Think of all the people that used to be up that got thrown down that you don't even hear of anymore. Forget their position. We don't even treat them like they're human anymore. They disappear. And the young people say, keep it 100. Keep it at 100 will get you killed. Keep it at 100 will take your job. Keep it at 100 will destroy your life. Keep it at 100 will knock you to your knee. You better keep it 100 with Jesus. If you got somebody that you can give 55, you're doing real good. There are some things that you must tell Jesus, because only Jesus has the ability to weigh the assets against the liabilities and not to judge you through one place, one moment, one period, one stage. And it's not just the judgment of the mass, and it's not just the judgment of the crowd. It is also the judgment of yourself. Shame equals a negative self-judgment and viewing yourself as worth. Shame stops from going after your dreams. Shame stops you from living your life to the fullest. It makes you punish yourself.
There's a Bible phrase that says, everyone, especially lazy people, should study ants. Ants are unique. Consider this. First, an ant will never quit. If he is headed somewhere, and you put your hand in his way, he will try to climb over, climb under, climb around. He keeps trying. If you let him go on his way, away he goes. And if you put something in his way again, he will try again to go over, under, around. And guess how long an ant will try? Answer, until he dies. So, an ant will never quit. What a philosophy. Next part of the ant philosophy. Guess what an ant has in the back of his mind all summer? Answer, winter. Ants prepare for winter all summer. How very bright. Now, some adults aren't that smart. They think summer all summer. That philosophy we call fatal. Now, here's another piece of ant philosophy. Question, how much will an ant gather in the summer to prepare for the winter? Answer, all he possibly can. That's it, the secret to the higher life. Doing all you possibly can. That is the great life quest, seeing what all you can become. A man says to me, Mr. Rohn, I'm making about $50,000 a year. Isn't that enough? I'm taking care of my family, and we are comfortable. Isn't $50,000 enough? And my answer is, yes, it is enough if it's the best you can do in the time allotted to labor and enterprise. However, if you are capable of making $500,000 a year and you only make $50,000, we call you loser. Remember, it's not the amount that counts. It's the extent of your reach that counts. If your best is $10,000 a year, that's enough. If your best is $1 million a year, that's enough. It's not the amount. It's your best we count. How tall will a tree grow? Answer, as tall as it can. Did you ever hear of a tree growing half as high as it could? No. Only humans with the power of choice settle for less than they can be. But I would ask you to walk the high road. Earn as much money as you can. Share as much as you can. Create all you can. Read as many books as you can. See as many places as you can. Become as skillful as you can. It's your birthright. Now, part of the learning to live on 70% falls under another fundamental, which we will cover in another session in this cassette program, that talks about lifestyle. How to get joy from your 70%. And that's what life is all about. Doing the things that bring us satisfaction and joy. But before we move on to this subject, let me add a few closing notes on the subject of a good financial plan. I've come up with the major role of grandparents in this country. Here it is. The major role of grandparents in this country should be to teach their grandchildren how to be wealthy, cultured, and happy, just like me. Grandparents should not have to say, I've worked all my life, now I need help. They should be able to say, I've worked all my life, now I can help. If you are not financially independent by age 40 to 50, it doesn't mean you live in the wrong country. It doesn't mean you live in the wrong community. It doesn't mean you live at a wrong time. It doesn't mean you are a wrong person. It doesn't mean you have the wrong chance. It simply means you have the wrong plan. I discovered you can be a nice person with the wrong plan. You can be a sincere person with a poor plan. And remember, it's not uncommon.
So I encourage men to get their PSA test, which stands for prostate-specific antigen, and the digital rectal examination. And I'll be glad when they can check our prostate by looking in our ear. Can you feel a brother? Up it here, up it here. I was at this medical convention. A friend of mine said, hey, Les, let me give you a free rectal. It's no, buddy, you too motivated. Homie don't roll like that, you know what I mean? I was at Florida Hospital. Guy came in, new doctor, didn't say hello, good morning, anything. Goes, get some gloves and some petroleum jelly. I said, hey, buddy, this is our first date. Hey, you got to bring me some potato chips, some M&M peanuts. We got to sit down and talk. I got to get relaxed. What's your mama name? I can't believe I'm telling y'all this. I'm turning red, but y'all can't see it. Oh, my God. One of the goals I have is to train. My gifting is in the area of helping you to discover your power voice, how to become a powerful presenter. That's what multi-level marketing does. The money's in the front of the room. The money's in 101, small groups on the telephone. Your ability to present yourself. A gentleman changed my life, Mr. Leroy Washington. He's in his 90s now. He's blind from glaucoma. I never forget the first day we met. I went in his class. He said, young man, go to the board and work this problem out for us. I said, oh, I can't do that, sir. He said, why not? I said, I'm not one of your students. He said, look at me. Yes, sir. Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow. I said, I can't do that, sir. The other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. He's DT. He's got a twin brother. His twin brother Wesley is smart. He's DT. He said, what does DT stand for? He's the dumb twin. And many of the kids laughed, just like some of you. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. That was a turning point in my life. On one hand, I was humiliated, but on the other hand, I was liberated because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. I want you to shake someone's hand on your right and left, look him in the eyes and say, you have something special. Do that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you have something special. I don't know you, but here's what I know about you based upon my own experience. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. Just the fact that you showed up, the fact that you said yes to this industry, it says a lot about you. You're uncommon because it means that you have a sense of taking responsibility for your own life. George Bernard Shaw said the people that will make it in this life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You've experienced setbacks and disappointments like everybody else in the economy, but you're operating out of the thinking of one L.C. Robinson, who said things may happen around you and things may happen to you, but the only things that really count are the things that happen in you. You have something special. For some of you, it was a struggle to get here. You couldn't afford to be here, but there's something in you that said, I can't afford not to be here. You have something special. You are uncommon. One great American said, I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I don't wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will never cower before any master, nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. That's what it means to be a part of multi-level marketing, an uncommon desire to live your dream and control your destiny.
It's not just that you say to repent, it's to say what I did was wrong and I'm sorry. But shame goes beyond repentance. It says, because of what I did, I am worthless. And the truth of the matter is, behind all of our clapping and skipping and jumping, there's not a person in this room that doesn't from time to time wrestle with shame. Oh, it's easy to talk about when you talk about dead people. Dead people, we can forgive their shame. We don't have any trouble with David and Peter and Nehemiah and all of those people, because they dead. But when they are living, they're destroyed. And when they are used, sometimes self-punish is the worst sentence any judge could execute on. The way you see yourself, that's shame. It ends relationships because if anybody comes along and tries to love you, you won't let them love you because you don't love yourself. If anybody tries to receive you, you push them away because you don't understand why anybody would want somebody who is worth it. And so you self-sabotage promotions on jobs and careers and relationships and even family life. Because even though they don't even know you think you're worth it, they think you're an amazing woman, you think you're a slut, a tramp. Some woman looks at you and said, he's a great man, he's a good man, and you think I'm worth it because I failed. So we self-medicate and we drink and we smoke and we get high and we shoot up and we do other things and we do church even to medicate the pain of shame, because church can be a narcotic. Oh. Y'all are gonna talk to me this morning. I wish I had a talk back church. Church can be a narcotic. It can be a way to anesthetize your pain. And then there's guilt. Guilt is when you evaluate an action or behavior you did as unfavorable, but as a person, you still feel valued internally. But if you're not careful, guilt will turn to shame, and it will affect every relationship in your life. The daughter you didn't raise,